Lost in the Wind. March 12, 2018, 11:30 p.m. It was so dark. I could barely see my hands. My fingertips were numb. My vision blurred. Everything felt like it was in slow motion. I heard cars rushing by, voices shouting, "Where am I?" Everything went black. "Hey, wake up! Wake up!" a man's voice shouted. I opened my eyes slowly, trying to focus on where I was. My head was pounding as I rubbed my temples and looked around. I was on a bus. Ugh, I must have fallen asleep, I muttered, checking my phone. 37 missed calls, 54 text messages, 79 notifications. What the hell? How long was I out? Where am I? You've been asleep since I picked you up 9 hours ago. We're in Boston now, the driver said, glancing at me through the rearview mirror. Boston. Panic shot through me. I looked around, trying to gather my bearings, but I didn't remember anything. Just flashes of a hand holding mine and a voice asking if I was okay. I reeked of smoke and wine. Stumbling off the bus, I checked my pockets. Only a few dollars and a strange ring with numbers counting down each morning. I had no memory of how I got here or what was happening. The chilly breeze of a Boston afternoon sent shivers through my body as I wandered into the nearest cafe and slumped into a corner table, lost and confused. I pulled out my phone and called the one person who could always help me, my mom. She answered instantly, her voice frantic. "Clara, where have you been? We've been searching for you. Your father and I have been worried sick. What happened? Where are you?" "Mom, I don't know what's going on. I woke up in Boston. I'm so lost and I don't have any money or anything. I can't even remember how I got here," I sobbed. "Oh, honey. Okay, just stay calm. I'm booking you a hotel right now. Stay where you are. I'll send you money. Just don't hang up," she said quickly. I could hear her typing on her laptop. "I'm at Bluebird Cafe," I managed to say through my tears. "There's a hotel just a few blocks from there. Head there, okay? I'll send clothes and more money. We'll get through this together," she reassured me, her voice softening as I started to feel a sense of relief. "Mom, I miss you so much," I whispered, tears still streaming down my face. "I miss you too, Clara. Just stay safe, okay?" The call ended, and I wiped my eyes, standing up to head to the hotel. The streets felt cold and unfamiliar, but I followed her directions until I found the place. Checking in, I grabbed the key and trudged up to my room. As soon as the door closed behind me, I collapsed onto the bed, exhausted and overwhelmed. March 13, 2018, 2:13 p.m. I jolted awake from a nightmare. Flashes of headlights, screeching tires, and a voice telling me, "Don't be stupid, Clara. We'll be fine. I'm happy your parents finally trusted me, even though I've had a little too much to drink." The nightmare felt too real, the sounds of that truck's horn still echoing in my mind. My phone buzzed. It was my best friend, Lena. "Clara, are you okay?" she asked, her voice laced with worry. I don't know, Lena. I woke up in Boston. Everything feels so messed up," I confessed, my voice shaky. "Listen, I'm coming to Boston. You shouldn't be alone right now," she said. "Lena, no. You have school and your parents will freak out if they find out," I protested, but deep down I was grateful. I told them this is more important. "You are more important," she replied firmly. I gave in and texted her my hotel address, feeling a little lighter knowing she was coming. The day passed in a blur, and by the time Lena arrived, I was curled up in bed, trying to piece together my scattered memories. She let herself in and sat beside me, wiping away her own tears. "I should have stopped you from going with her." "With Ava," Lena whispered, her voice breaking. I couldn't even respond. The memories of my time with Ava were a mix of happiness and regret. all swirling together in a mess of confusion. Lena wrapped her arms around me and we stayed like that, holding each other for what felt like hours. The room was quiet, except for the distant hum of the city outside. "We'll figure this out," Lena whispered softly, her forehead resting against mine. I nodded, grateful to have her by my side. It wasn't just the city that felt unfamiliar, it was me. But maybe with Lena here I could finally find my way back to myself. The room felt eerily silent after Lena's words. Her arms around me were warm, grounding, and for a moment, it felt like everything might actually be okay. But the lingering dread in my chest told me otherwise. Something wasn't right. It wasn't just about waking up in Boston or forgetting how I got there. It was Ava. There were pieces of the night that hovered at the edges of my mind, just out of reach, and every time I tried to focus on them, it felt like I was diving into a pool of fog. I pulled back slightly and looked at Lena. Her face, normally so strong and full of life, was etched with worry. The shadows under her eyes betrayed how tired she was, how much she had been worrying about me. "Lena, what happened that night? What do you remember?" I asked quietly, searching her face for answers. She took a deep breath and looked away, her lips trembling before she spoke. "Clara, I don't know everything, but I do know that Ava, she was spiraling. The night you left with her, I should have stopped you, but you seemed so sure," Lena said, her voice cracking. "You said you needed space and you and Ava were going to get away for a while. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't want to push you. I thought you'd be okay. I thought you'd come back." Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. I tried to recall that moment, the certainty she mentioned, but all I could remember was that cold, nagging feeling that something wasn't right. It lingered just beneath the surface, a weight I had ignored for too long. "I don't even remember leaving with her," I confessed. "The last clear memory I have is her picking me up from the house. After that, it's just bits and pieces. We argued. I think we were in the car and she was drunk." My voice dropped to a whisper, and I could feel the tremor in my hands. Lena's eyes widened, and she reached out to hold my hands, steadying them. "Ava was drinking?" she asked, her tone sharper now. "Clara, why didn't you call me? You know you could have told me, right?" "I don't know. I thought I could handle it," I admitted. "I thought I could help her." Lena shook her head, frustration and concern mixing in her eyes. "You don't have to fix everything, Clara. Especially not her. Ava is a mess and she's dragging you into it." I felt tears prickling my eyes again. I had tried so hard to make things work with Ava. She was magnetic, with a wild energy that had drawn me in from the start. But over time, the cracks in her facade started to show. The mood swings, the drinking, the way she made me feel small when she was upset. I had told myself it wasn't that bad, that she needed me to keep her grounded. But here I was, lost, alone in Boston, with no memory of how I'd gotten here. Lena rubbed my shoulder and then stood up, pacing the room. "Look, we'll figure this out. I'm not leaving you here. But we need to start piecing together what happened. Maybe we should contact the police. They can help trace Ava's car or see where you two went that night." The thought of involving the police made me uneasy. What if I had done something terrible? What if Ava had? My mind went to the worst possible places. "I don't know if I'm ready for that," I mumbled. Lena turned back to me, her face softening. "Okay, I get it. Let's take it one step at a time. I'm here. We'll take this slow." The next few days passed in a haze of searching for clues. Lena had convinced me to retrace my steps, though I still couldn't remember much beyond brief flashes. Ava's face, a gas station, and then darkness. Every attempt to remember more brought back that sense of drowning. But Lena wouldn't let up. She kept me grounded, pulling me back to reality when my mind spiraled. March 15, 2018. We had decided to visit the gas station, the one that lingered vaguely in my memory. It was just outside of Boston, the place Ava had filled up her car before. Whatever happened next, Lena and I arrived, walking into the small, dingy station, where the cashier lazily flipped through a magazine. I went up to the counter, nerves coiling tight in my stomach. "Hi," I started awkwardly. I don't know if you remember me, but I was here a few days ago with someone. My friend was driving a red car." The cashier looked at me like I was speaking a foreign language. "Lady, I see a lot of people come through here. I don't know. You want me to check the cameras or something?" Lena stepped forward, more assertive than I had ever been. "Yes, please. It's really important." He sighed but led us to the back, where he replayed footage from the night I vaguely remembered. And there it was, a red car pulling up to the pump. I could see Ava stumbling out of the driver's seat, obviously drunk, while I sat slumped in the passenger seat. The footage only lasted a few seconds, but it was enough to make my blood run cold. "Did you call anyone when you saw her like that?" Lena asked, clearly angry that no one had stopped Ava. The cashier shrugged. "Not my business, you know. I just sell gas." I clenched my fists, but Lena grabbed my arm before I could say anything. She led me outside, both of us shaken. "She was driving drunk, Clara. She could have killed both of you," Lena said, her voice tight with worry. I nodded, trying to hold back tears. I don't know what to do. It's like the memories are there, but they're all broken pieces. I keep seeing flashes, but nothing makes sense." Lena sighed, running her hand through her hair. "We're getting closer. We'll figure this out. But I'm scared for you. Ava is dangerous, Clara. I don't know what happened that night, but I don't think she's safe for you." Her words rang in my ears as we drove back to the hotel in silence. Ava had always been reckless, but this felt like more. There was something deeper, something I wasn't seeing yet. The weight of it pressed down on me, suffocating. By the time we got back, the sun had set, and the city lights twinkled in the distance. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at my phone. I had dozens of missed calls from my parents, from people back home, but not a single one from Ava. Not since the night everything went wrong. Suddenly, my phone buzzed in my hand. A blocked number. My heart raced as I stared at the screen. "Hello." I answered, my voice barely above a whisper. There was silence on the other end. Then a familiar voice, shaky and soft. "Clara, it's me. It's Ava."